Yeah, I've been looking at myself lately, and I've been having this thought: if I start getting parts in my head again, right? And let me tell you what's crazy about that, folks. Before I go on, a big shout out, global shout out to the entire globe. But what's crazy, when I was younger, you were trying to, you see the older guys, you're like, yeah, I want a part too. So I was get the pause in my head right here because everybody got their pause out. Maybe it was hit, but I think a pause always used to on the left. And I was like, why pause ain't never on the right? So I don't know, maybe because, you grow up, you're like, I'm a lefty, I'm a righty. So I'm like, I'm a righty, so the pause should be on my right. I don't know what was my thoughts then. It was so long ago. If you would have asked me then, answers probably would have been different or would have been a solid answer. But that's crazy. You get older, you think about the childhood things you did, the fun that you had as a child. Some people you still friends with, not. But children are supposed to have a fun time growing up, going places, parents taking them places, car bells, the goddamn globe. What is this called? The Walt Disney Orlando. You get my point. Great adventures, fun time, fun things, kids. Hey! So, I'm about to call in Immaculate, which is the other host for this event that I was trying to bring up to our audience, which is you, which is me, which is us, which is everybody that come in and check us out. So, let me see if I can connect with her, because what happened earlier, we came on a live, her side was kind of staticky. I looked over some of the previous video, and how you hear me, I hear you. Well, how you hear me is how I sound on the video. And it was a lot of static on the side. So what happened is we going to just do something, I guess, again, tomorrow. But right now, I'm going to have her come in and see why earlier, maybe because of the phone connection, both of us on the phone doing the live, whatever. But yes, let me say this. Welcome to the Other Side of Brooklyn podcast. So it is crazy how the episode was about a teacher, 25 years old. I don't know why I can't remember her name. This is just so terrible. Never be. But I can't remember. But the incident happened less than 2 weeks ago. And it's kind of crazy how this lady is 25 years old. And, she has her best interests in children. And that's kind of crazy that, 25. I don't know to say, like, if it's an R. Kelly kind of situation at hand, but what I can say is, if the teacher is 25 years old, then I think to a 14 or 13-year-old child, she's considered to be a cougar. So I'm not sure what's the exact number when the age of cougar starts. I think in the mid-30s. But by the time you reach the 40s, as a woman, most people will recognize you as a cougar. So I think this 25-year-old teacher is a cougar to these little kids. Not to be funny, but come on, 25, a child 13, child 14. I'm waiting to see, hopefully, I can get my other hosts in here. But I kind of find it like outrageous and hideous that people take these jobs, whether to educate the kids, to monitor the kids, to be a mentor to the kids. It's a sad situation when adults decide that they want to give the kind of love to kids that's not the kind of love they should be getting from an adult, not even their parents. So I'm going to go in a little bit more. Maybe I can get the other host in. So I'm just talking to y'all because we was just in here and the connection wasn't kosher. We wasn't properly connected. So yeah, eventually I will start doing more of these lives. And I'm seeing there's features in these lives that I didn't know exist before, because all I do is just come on and start talking whatever's in my mind, whether it's a subject matter or whatever. This is just the drama rock. And you tune in, you don't, you don't. That's life. But soon, eventually, a lot of people that don't tune in will tune in. So I don't know, people waiting to see like 1K, 2K, 3K kind of numbers, or when you see my post, my video post, you see like 200 or 300 people who's actually inside the live for you to be like, okay, now I think Drama's giving out something. So now I'm gonna start bringing myself to his lives or our lives. Might be me and Takia, me and Mooney, might be me and Immaculate, Stacy. This might be me, goddammit. But I do got some other things lined up, hopefully, when I go back out to Philly. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to talk to some interesting people. And I ain't talking about just people on the streets. I've been looking at certain things, looking at certain people, trying to make my face very known in that particular area. So when you see me, you won't have to feel like, oh, who this hoodlum guy, this guy in my store, I can't afford to be robbed. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to a lot of people in that state, right? Because I used to live in that state back in the 80s. But now I'm here. It's a different kind of total recall for a lot of us, especially since that pandemic. But I'm definitely get deeper and start writing more stuff about Philly while I'm out there. I'm be writing things, period. Besides the things I'm working on, because I'm working on some wild stories. I'll just keep it as that. You know, I had one good story that I think anybody could relate to, because it was kind of like a street, but it wasn't like crazy street, a bunch of gunfire, but it was wild. You know what I'm saying? It was like both sides. I don't even want to go into it because I did some dumb shit, messed up my story. But what I do know is I'm going to make sure I keep the rest of these stories together and not be trying to copy stuff and send small portions and then losing more. But one thing I've also been thinking about doing for your pleasure is start exposing some of my writings to use the audience. I want to reach the globe. You know, I want to be in places where people talk my name and I haven't been there if I am going there. So, yes, I don't know if I'm going to have more use, if I'm going to have to bribe you people, send money to that Cash App and gift cards. I don't know. But, like I said, and I have seen this happen, it takes some time, but people will eventually come in and it'll be the same people. I don't mess with you on the rock. I don't mess with Immaculate. Why you go there? It's kind of like when you cool with some people, or you're the type of person that you cool with everybody almost in the neighborhood or wherever you go, and then you, one other person or two got like mutual friends. But when y'all all go around them, it's just like, yo, why they be treating this guy like this? We all know he ain't better than us. So what I'm saying is this. You could be very resistant, but eventually a lot of you will start coming in. I'm not forcing nobody nothing. I'm not about doing outrageous stuff, start yelling and screaming at people in the streets. I'm not about to start twerking, wearing pocketbooks and tight jeans and a pair of fucking Uggs. I don't care if they're the latest men Uggs. I just don't do shit like that. So we're going to get some shit straight. They're going to start rocking out, hanging out, banging out with us. Yo, Immaculate, where did you go? I just had to get up my chest because it took you a while to get in here. I was like, yo, for the matter, where is Immaculate? And she came, and you're like, this guy's still talking. Yeah, I just had to get that off right quick. So I was thinking, okay, she's probably not going to pop back up for whatever reason. So just let me talk in case people do pop back. But Immaculate, where the hell are you? Get up here and do some of this goddamn talking for us. So, you know. Yeah. So, as I was saying, I plan on writing more articles, And I don't want to say too much, but I'm definitely write articles. But I'm not going to say exactly what I'm trying to do with my articles. Because it's going to be more than just me writing articles and or let me post it on Facebook and see what people think that's from Philly or my timeline, or people from Jersey or Miami or Kansas, and you get the damn point, Missouri and all them other places. Big shout out to Ohio, because Ohio been going through some craziness lately. I've been keeping up with some of it, but they're so crazy with all these different entities that's involved, and the water is good. You come back home and drink the poison, but it's not poison. So once again, big shout out to Ohio, and hopefully, hey, Lisa Smith, what's good? I'm waiting for Immaculate to come back. She came in, but I was just talking, trying to kill time. But I'm glad to see you, Lisa. How are you? What been going on? Shit, Louisiana's another rough place too, but I haven't been hearing nothing about Louisiana, just Ohio lately. So it's crazy.
Am I there?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what they doing, but they messing up, man. Hi, whoever's in the room. Hi, Lisa. What's going on? Hope you're well.
Yeah, just the Lisa I was talking about earlier. When I be like, come to the videos or they be catching the end of it, whatever. But yeah, so I think we were talking about the 25-year-old teacher, right? So yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
man.
don't want to put too much on it, but overall, I just want to know what you think. For as she's being 25 years old, she's dealing with a 14-year-old, kissing and texting a 13-year-old. Like overall, like how do you deal with people like this in society? Do you put them behind the jail as a solution, or do these people need some type of psychological help? Well, what's your opinion?
I wouldn't call her psychological because she has needs as a woman. However, where she's looking for her sexual, um, her sexual preference is in children. That's what makes it not norm. I don't think people should always go through punishing each other. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as that goes. Um, we talked about this a little while ago. Like I said, it makes it a gift and it makes it a good and a bad thing to children. First of all, we don't know if the children came on to her, first and she provoked it. We don't know the real situation. We looking at her because she's the adult, the more so adults who's supposed to use logic in this. So we don't know, you know what I'm saying? That's why she knew to tell them not to tell. Basically, giving these kids rings and shit. That was great, yo. That was crazy. I swear to you, not like. But because we know that us as an adult supposed to look at this from a place of logic, it makes it very wrong. And but them kids also equally know what it is. We come from a time where everybody knows about sex and sexual deviancy and sexual harassment and all types. They teach these kids that now. We didn't have that. We had to get it from our mama or our aunties or somebody who tell you. If somebody tell you something they ain't supposed to tell you, you tell us. But these
Right,
kids
right.
are sexually aware of a lot of things more than we were. So having said that, we don't really notice the whole scenario. Yes, she should lose her job. Yes, she should lose her right to be a teacher. But then again, like I said, who am I to judge completely? Because, like I said, some of them youngsters be looking so delicious. But I'm not going in there. You know what I'm saying? That's a Pandora's box. I know that I might not escape from. You know what I'm saying? But that lady, you could see she was something wrong with her. That's why I remember me and you talked a couple of minutes ago before in the last one. That's why I said they should have like one of those type of probational periods that they clearly are unaware of. That way you can, and they could still get their same pay or however it goes. Because nowadays they're getting their jobs based on referrals. We don't know if somebody actually referred that person. And now she's making that person who referred her, you know what I'm saying, look bad.
Yeah, well, anytime somebody refer you, you know what I'm saying, and they ain't good standards with the person or that company, and you go act like an idiot or a fool, they gonna bug out like the fuck you sent me. Matter of fact, recently, right, my homeboy wanted to put me into a company he's in. So I spoke to the lady, so we was trying to do the FaceTime, we couldn't get the FaceTime going. So what happened was she was like, "Yo, could you take a picture of me?" So I ended up taking a picture of myself. We continued to talk. She said, "Okay." So later on, she called my homeboy. My homeboy called me. He said, "Yo, you know you hired," but she told me I was hired already. But what she told him was, "Yo, I like the guy. He seems decent. He looks decent, and the way he talks, I think he'd be perfect." And he's like, "Yo, son, so you do what you gotta do. I told you." I said, "All right, cool." So it's just like, I don't know, man. It's it's hard to find good people for good situations. And what I mean is like teachers, like maybe there need to be some type of adjustment because it was like with police. Every time police do something or police get a bad rap, they come with the same usual. Or we gonna put them back in training, or we gonna exceed the training and advance the training. So it's always like we're gonna give them something more that they didn't have that's gonna fix these situations that's giving us a bad reputation. So education, the school board system, they got a bad reputation for years because this has been going on college, high
Well over
school.
20
They've been a bunch of
years.
times high school teachers who have sex. But see, high school teachers, high school students is something a little different than when you 8, 9, 15, 13. Like those ages is still more like they shouldn't be near sex at those ages. So it's a little
So
different. But high
what do
school
you
kids,
think should happen to the lady? What do you believe that should happen?
well, I think there should be a probation for all teachers, and it should be a psychological probation, where sometimes within the duration before the probation is up, every so often probably put them through certain circumstances or ask them certain questions. And they do this in everything. There's a pattern, jobs, whatever, certain things they, for like security. Oh, so if you see a person stealing, are you going to tell us? Duh, of course I am. Well, check this out. If it's a co-employee, will you tell us? Of course. Then later on, they ask you the same thing. So if there's somebody that you work with and you're kind of like friends, and they try to jumble the words around and make you, and this is the same thing you asked me earlier. No, I would not. I ain't letting nobody walk out here without merchandise. Next question.
But I wouldn't say that. You know why? Because I used to be a thief. I had to steal to eat. You get what I'm saying? Like it's putting me up against a thing to where I'm going against street code. You know what I'm saying? It's like a yay and nay. Sometimes stealing is wrong, but however, if you're trying to eat, you gotta be creative how you eat. So the circumstance would be kind of different. And like you said, as far as that teacher goes, she psychologically over time, who's to say that maybe 5, 10 years from now, this type of young lady, when she was in her 30s, she still would have done the same thing. And I'm not saying that I like I said, when I looked at her once you showed me the picture and you sent me the link, I was like, she look already like she's not there. But I believe she got that job based on, first of all, I don't believe a 25-year-old should be a teacher because to me they're still coming off of being a teenager. All right, I'm just saying that 25 to me is still technically coming out of being 18. They don't really know their ass from their elbows, real talk. Especially if, I don't care if they say they was on their own since 14, still there's a mental development that comes with it. I don't care how old somebody could be, an old soul. I was very mature for my age, very mature. But that still didn't mean that I didn't understand a lot of things. There was a lot of other things I didn't understand, regardless of my maturity. And this type of teacher, that they were, that this young lady, however, you can see that she still felt that to deal with these kids, she was trying to live who she's supposed to be in her teenage years. Maybe she wasn't that, sexually, you get what I'm saying, experienced, and because she didn't get that through adulthood, she went to what she's comfortable with, which is being around youngsters. She always had a preference of youngsters. And when I look at people like that, I say, what makes them feel like they want that urge to still look at kids in that thing? You know why? A couple of things. They didn't have a father in the household. They didn't have somebody to tell them certain things was wrong. Two, they don't know themselves. They really don't have a much experience sexually. Regardless to no disrespect to Jada and Will disclaimer that she was looking at that young boy as a young sexual temptation. Where was she mentally growing? You get what I'm saying? It's not just about them wanting sexual needs, it's about them feeling they lack in somewhere in their life. And when they nurture those certain parts, that can take over 20 years. So should she be in that field of teaching, period? Should be the question.
All right, well, I'm going to say this is short. Going back again, the probation, yes, I think it should be drilled. So let's say the probation like 6 months, right? This is usually 6 months, some jobs 3 months. Whatever the course of
I would
probation
say
is.
3 years.
Well, I don't know about that, but there has to be something in shorter time where you could do tests and test teachers to see, put them in certain situations with kids and not have them know that they being monitored, but take them, like just do certain shit just to see how they react, if their behavior is the same in school, because when you're in school, you got a certain behavior because you're like, okay, this is my job, but you want to fuck inside your head, you little bastards. Okay, class, look, everyone calm down. So, yeah, it should be certain situations. Not saying that that actually going to mean later on they're not going to do it, but they still teach
That's
it.
why I said
But
3
it gives
years.
you an
36
indication
months, yo. 30.
how vulnerable these kids could be within certain teachers within your school. Like, okay, I wouldn't think so-and-so would be like that with kids. You see what I'm saying? So you're not looking for so much this aggressive behavior or over-aggressive behavior, but the kind of sexual behavior that's like, whoa, 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 what
Because
is...
these are puberty
I just
ages. You
said
get
to
what I'm
my
saying?
cat,
13
I
is
mean,
junior high school.
you said what?
I said because 13 is junior high school. These are puberty ages. These are the ages that their body start from 10 to 13 and 14. We know those are the ages of puberty when their bodies start developing. And for people to have this, like I said, the adults to have that to look towards the child is crazy. Period. Even though we're going to look. You understand? But like I told you, it should be some off switch to be like, nah, like hell no, that could be my baby. Because I'm
So let
sure
me...
once that young lady become a parent, she's gonna see where she went wrong. But right now, she's in her feelings.
Right, well, different things in life do give you a different perspective, but check it out though. Now that we're talking about this, well, I have never really read or came across, so I never read it, but or came across this, what we are talking about. But one time I was listening to this Muslim Imam, not that I had to, because I listened to a bunch of them when I was involved in Islam, but outside of it. So this brother here, and I actually met this brother, and I don't remember if it was the convention in Chicago or was it the Magic I was to be up when I was to be upstate when he came there, because we had quite a few people that came there. So either or wherever I met him at, all I know is he was talking about the Prophet Muhammad and how the Prophet Muhammad still had sexual desires, but he didn't do that with Aisha because of
Isha,
Aisha. So what he did was brought Aisha to his family and let the family, basically the family observed her, she observed the family, and somewhere during a few years in time, he could, do the nasty. But the thing is this, there's a lot of stories of back then, and it's not just with the Prophet Muhammad, it's also with the Romans, the Greeks. Like this was an ongoing thing for older men in their 30s and 40s to find a 10 and 11 and a 14-year-old, and it's like, yo, I make you as a wife, maybe something they did, maybe something they didn't, they just did it because they was younger, and the thrill of having a younger lady for an older man is a lot more exciting than sometimes having an older woman. Y'all both old, y'all just sitting there old, and it's like a younger woman kind of give you more inspiration that you want to live. Probably gonna give you a heart attack in the process, but it's gonna uplift you inside, and this is why a lot of men do certain things for younger women, and older women don't get it, because sometimes older women, not only are older women stuck in their ways, they see life in a whole kind of different way. And then they had a lot of bad relationships or bad marriages. They already got a certain perspective that's probably stuck that they don't want to push out, or they're not going to push it out. So you're gonna go through a little bit of their old past, and then whatever shit you might do, if it's bullshit to them, you're gonna go through that. But the point I'm trying to make of older ladies are let's just chill. You see most times on Facebook, older women, 40s, 50s. Some of them you see regularly. You might seem like little carnivals, but most of the time, women that age, they always somewhere eating. Somewhere eating, somewhere eating, somewhere eating, somewhere eating. Another woman, she wanna go over here and go over there and go over here and go over there. Let's get on the airplane, hang outside the airplane on our way to Miami. You're like, motherfucker, you're gonna sit inside the airplane. I said, no, we're
I
not.
don't believe that a lot of young girls are sexually experienced. I think some of the men are just looking towards their youth through younger people. There's a lot of them young ladies that don't know how to wash their fucking ass when they be looking at these little 11, 12, 13-year-old girls. They don't even know how to change their fucking pad on time. You get what I'm saying? When they looking at the women at their age, they know that woman is looking at them like, nigga, you just want to fulfill your sexual fantasies. Let's get it on. They not enticed no more. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm even enticed through youth. But that don't mean that these young boys know how to smash. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are not really sexually experienced. A lot of them just think it's in and out, but it's more than that. It's more than that, especially with somebody like me. I don't get, and then there's some men who's not sexually confident with women our age. Like they could be our age, like in our age bracket, and they're not really sexually confident with themselves. So what they'll do is look at somebody younger because it doesn't take much for them, the young person, to expect but a few dollars. Wham, bam, 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 bam. Oh, and then they calling you when they need a little change. They know how to put a cap on that. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think that's how R. Kelly was? Because I always say
Yes.
to myself about the art. I always say, yo,
He had some bad bitches. You saw them women. They were gorgeous.
if you see how many women that didn't know R. Kelly, that you be around or being R. Kelly, oh my God, I do all this to R. Kelly. And like, yo, mad women his
It's
age.
something about
When we,
his energy. It's
but
something about Capricorn. His wives were beautiful women. It is not to say Capricorn bitches are freaks. I'm just being honest. We're fucking freaks. We can have a high tolerance of pain. We have, and I don't mean it has to be pain with the sex. I'm just saying that we are very freaky, like mommy freaky. You know what I'm saying? That bad mommy, you'll be like, oh my God, that bitch, she gonna put it on me. And the little boy be like, I want her to take me. I want her to take me. That kind of older woman. And he got some bad women. I would love to say that R. Kelly had that. However, he has a attraction, a deep soul attraction to how the young women breasts look when they are growing. I could see that with when and it was fucked up that I saw the video, but I had to see it to be nosy. He lives in his mind of, for one, power over being dominant, and two, he likes youth. It's innocence. They're attracted to innocence, almost equivalent to Miss Disclaimant, Jada Pinkett Smith, and I'm sure we'll have. We just never heard about it yet. You know, there's a lot of them that's like that. They are attracted to how our breasts look suckle and growing in, and not trying to give you a visualization, but it's to how I know it to be. You get what I'm saying? I know what I'm saying because I get the compliment from people. If they see me, they'll look at me like, you don't even look like it at your age. You know what I'm saying? Like your physical body, that you look like you still got it going on for younger lady. And I know that, and that's coming from older people who I was intimate with, because they're looking for youth. If they can't find it in a woman, they're gonna find it and look for it through a younger lady. And like I said, drama. These guys is really about dominance. It's about, okay, I got something young. I'm telling you, because they'll have 4 or 5 of them. So why they can't just settle for one young girl? Why does it have to still be many? Because it's dominance of just what it is, sexual nature. For one, men feel like they're here to conquer, and 2, they like to be dominant, and 3, some men are just not happy. They would like to believe they are, but they're not. They haven't said goodbye or nurtured their inner child. That's why there's a lot of men walking around here as man, boy man, or man boy, boy men. Boyman is, you know.
Innocence. That's what they were saying about Aaliyah. Whether it was a conspiracy, whether it was true or not, that, innocence also plays a part in a lot of these so-called related secret societies say goodbye to the world. But the
And she
sad
was
thing is,
mature for her age. Remember,
yeah,
she was a very smart young lady.
maybe so. But the innocence what got her done in. But check it
Yes.
out though. I seen a recent post, right? And I was going to share it. And sometimes, Facebook is so crazy with their words. But this is what the post was. Michael B. Jordan had another man. So let's say
Who's
like,
Michael B. Jordan?
like, hold on. Hold on. Let's say, right? So let's say the picture of Michael B. Jordan, right? The man was like this, and Michael B. Jordan, right?
Who's Michael B.
So
Jordan?
this how the man was on Michael B. Jordan. So the thing was basically about black men
What's a
need to
dinosaur?
be listen, black men we need to be more affectionate with our brothers. So this is the main picture of the show. They got the man like this, and then the man got his arms going across Michael B. Jordan. That's in one photo. Then in the next photo, they got the dude like Michael B. Jordan, like this is Michael B. Jordan, and he's about to. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then they show another picture, like 3 pictures. So I was like, damn, who posts this? What are you going to say? Oh, you just want to leave it and see what people say. And that's what I should have did. But the crazy thing is this, and this is what I noticed, and I tell people it's a pattern. Because this a few weeks ago, they were talking about, oh, Michael B. Jordan, one of the most sexiest black male symbols, and they talking about the new movie that he got coming out. So they talking about him, his masculinity, being masculine, and then they showed this. So I was kind of confused because what I'm trying to understand is, men and women, we have like a different aura and understanding with each other. So with
Yes.
men, it's like a pound, a hug, high five. You know what I'm saying? Women,
Some boys
like, nah.
kiss their father. I've seen sons kiss their dads.
Yes, and I find that kind of crazy. But what you think about that Michael B. Jordan? Because I hope I could come across it again. I surfed the internet, I could catch it. But it's the whole thing that it was saying, whoever posted it, it was saying that black men need to stop uplifting each other. So we need to start uplifting each other as black men. And if we're going to hold hands across the streets or, maybe put my hand in his back pocket as we walk into the grocery store, this is upliftment. What do you think
Michael B.
about that?
Jordan is who? From what movie?
Creed. He's the guy.
The
He's
young boy?
boxing.
That's his name? Okay.
That's his name. So, what you think about this concept? You think this is able to uplift black men, or is they trying to direct us underhandedly into a different direction?
Uplift him where? From the position of holding his nuts? Or from the position of holding him up as a man holding his arm, you know what I'm saying? And we walk down the street holding each other like brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what the hell they would say, because there's subs when it comes to the social media posting and stuff.
Well, I tell you what. I think what happened is right because we always see with the hip hop, they just took some of the toughest rap artists, kill your moms, your babies, and then now they wearing female Uggs and tight jeans and purses and all kind of weird, freaky, kinky shit that you would probably wear in the bedroom with the ones you love or some orgy party. So what I think is this: they are trying to disguise some things. Some things is in the open. Some things are trying to disguise and maneuver us into a direction where, you know, it's like they want the black men to be less manly with everything. You see what I'm saying? And so it all started to me like back in the days when they used to have movies and you used to hear stuff like, oh, black men is just too rough, black men too tough, black. So like we was too rough, we was too tough, we was too violent. And then they start having movies like the black woman will have a black male friend that wants to be a woman, and then they start complimenting them, and then they start having these TV shows where they like, look, well, if that person is into the same sex, then that's even better because they're more cleaner. So they start like putting them on a pedestal. But what I'm saying is like, it's like they are. Why do you need so many different methods on trying to make the black man be more like a black woman or some kind of woman instead of letting the black man be a man?
I got you one better. They tried to make those types of women who were acting that feminine as a state of us being helpless. But when now they're doing it as from a man perspective, they call that strength in a man. So that go to show you how they're reversing the woman's role at, because we are the damsels in distress, but don't underestimate us being the damsels in distress. We actually push them babies out. We actually do a lot of shit. We can even go hunting while we're pregnant. You know what I'm saying? But now, when you're saying that they're doing reversing as far as men go, they're saying for a man to embrace that. I'm all for a man crying when thugs cry type shit. However, a husband and a man is two different jobs, and one thing a man and a husband should have in common is acknowledging that they should be able to cry. However, they're supposed to be a strong man in general. They can go somewhere and cry. Like I said, I never would mind a man crying before me. It's how he would handle his emotions at that time, which will make me know what type of man and how to deal with him. Because not every guy cries right away. So but what they're showing right there, that's sexual deviancy. And why I call it deviancy is because it's not normally normal for what we grow to be. I'm all for men liking other men, but that should be out in the open. If they really have right intentions, don't be manipulative about it, because what they're doing with that photo that you're describing is being sexually manipulative.
Yeah, that I think that was my point. That was definitely. So look, I got another thing that's crazy too, right? And this is what I haven't really put thought to it. But I said once I get the laptop, this next one, get the right one that's compatible, I'm gonna start going back into my looking up and really reading into these things and refreshing and resharpening up more what I used to know and what I need to know. But the crazy thing is this. Now, we talked about the other night how Nixon took away the gold from the dollar, backing up the dollar bill. So
Yeah.
now, one time I'm looking into this Bitcoin system, and they said money and money money and gold will be supporting the Bitcoin system. And I said, this
They
is
really
crazy.
doing that for real?
Right, this is I've been read this years ago, but this is what they said is going to happen. Because now I'm going back again. Nixon took the gold from the dollar, like the man asked him, how's the dollar going to stand now without the gold backing it up? But now, years later, you coming up with a digital currency system, and the same thing you took away from backing up money is now not only going to back up money again, it's also going to back up the Bitcoin system, because they specifically said in the article, money that we got, the 20s and 50s, and then, hey, the gold. So I said, okay, that's kind
Because
of
they
cool.
move the money around. You know that, right? It's easy to move money around easier.
Hold on,
Remember?
hold that thought before we go. Hold that thought before we go. Now, with the gas and this stuff with the ozone and the global warming, so now you see how they pushing the electric cars. But the crazy thing is, I was watching, you probably see it too, a video, but I seen something else and I put it on pause. But in the video, the man is talking about how they got tanks set up for gas to support the electric car system. So it's like some things you just can't run from, and it's like, why would I try to manipulate something into something else when you still need the first thing that started everything from the beginning? Same shit with the Beyond Burger we talk about. They don't want to give you the actual cow, but they extract the cells from the cow, mix chemicals in it, and tell you got a hamburger when you could just give us a fucking cow. So Yeah, I find that kind of crazy. There's a lot of things they want to take away, but some things is the roots, is the base of everything. So you will always go back. So you see how they did nature or doing nature. It's like they still gotta go back. So we don't take the seeds out, but there's something about it that's still left, a potency that still can help you survive and be a little more healthy. That we need to get that shit too, and then probably put in some chemicals and sell it to you
You
for
know,
$29.99 and 4 free bottles if you order right now. It's tight.
because the more things change, the more they stay the same. At the end of the day, value is still in having gold, diamonds, and things, because those actual resources, paper, we could do without paper. The reason why we just got bills as far as money goes is for the lighter load, you know what I'm saying, to carry easily. But all the same, like you said, they have to go back to basic. Everything requires going back to basics, down to even the alphabets. When you count your money, you still got to start at the number one. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
And yeah, man. And what I find scary about what they're about to do to us is, during the times of plantations when we had our ancestors working on the plantations, they never reprimanded us the monies from that. So how would they handle the money? They would transfer it. Remember, they used to move those monies, them unclaimed monies, through Swiss accounts and all those other places. So now what they can do is move that same money into Bitcoins and all of that shit, triple the money, and then go, oh, it's reported that you got only $1 million. Your ancestors only worked for this. But naturally, that fucking Bitcoin done evolved into hundreds of millions. You get what I'm saying? But they're going to give you what they naturally reported, but not saying that the money that was sitting there done incurred over these years, that same value. I see it
I
like
say
that.
two things. Two things I think. I was listening to some guy the other day, yesterday. He made plenty of sense. He said, for one, we still thinking about, oh, we got to get acres. Land is good. But then we talking about we want a mule. Forget the mule. Maybe forget the acres. What he said is, the best thing to do is to get the money and then start building. Not to start building apartments and shit, but then buy your land. Like, you know what I'm saying? Certain shit get the money because somebody give me land, like, what the fuck is that? They could poison the land. You see what I'm saying? They poisoning shit now. So you growing shit coming out the sky, and niggas spraying all type of. The thing is this, right? The other thing I think I wanted to say. I said a thing about how he was talking about, you know what I'm saying, the money. This is what I was saying. Reparations. Reparations. When Obama was in office, he signed some bill. Don't know the name of the bill. But it was supposed to be for people like you and I, the melanated people. This is what was supposed to have been for us. There's some contract deal with college. Now, somewhere down the line, he was like, look, you got to let the Chinese in, the Hispanics, and somebody else. And he said you had to, because this would be more as a form of discrimination if they don't get the same opportunity that was supposed to be given to the people of this skin. Very nice. Now, what was the other thing is that was one. And reparations. Now, I feel this is what reparations was. This is why I brought up that Obama situation. And I'm going to say it again real shorter. It was some type of college situation. Black people pulled there for us. He decided to open the doors for other ethics. Reparations. Now, I believe reparations is a form of what people was discussing. We should be getting these monies. That was the reparations. But instead of them saying, look, we're going to just give it to the black people, we're going to do it like this. Like Obama said, it wouldn't be fair if the black people just get the money. Come on, man. Education is black.
Because you know the type of lawyer he was, remember?
So that where the reparations was. That shit was right there with them fucking with that money. That was it. I'm telling you. I can't prove it yet. But once I started looking into it, because see, I was looking into all type of shit, listening to different people, taking my own opinions, coming up with my own conclusions, looking at people, listening to people, don't care if it's a man, don't care if it's a woman. I'm not judgmental who I get the info from.
You saying that they invested that money into the jobs and stuff?
Am I saying what?
that money that they would have gave us as far as reparations go, did they? Because remember, he started new jobs that a lot of
Yeah,
people didn't get.
the stimulus was the reparations. Because
No,
this is
that
what I'm
was
trying to
that
tell you.
the stimulus was actually what's his name? The
Doesn't matter who pushes it out.
yeah,
I'm
that
connected with
he
the
wrote it.
reparations.
Yes, you're right. He signed it
I'm
off.
connected with the reparations. The same way I connected that shit with Obama, what Obama said. So you gotta understand, they say something one way
I
on
think the
one
reparations
platform.
went into Obamacare,
Well, I'm trying to tell you that
and
stimulus is
I
part of it.
never liked that freaking Obamacare. There's a lot of people complaining about it. Like I said, a lot of people don't even know what the fuck Obamacare is. A lot of the people who talk about Obamacare didn't even fucking work. It's a lot of
Let me
motherfuckers
tell
talking
you.
about Obamacare. And I'm like, motherfucker, ain't you on SSI? Yeah, like how the fuck you gonna talk about Obamacare and you don't even get those damn benefits? Those are for the working people, and most of them working people that was on Obamacare was from the LGBTQ community. No offense, it was really more so for them. The hardworking people that talked about Obamacare, where's their benefits right now? I
Well,
would
you're
like
right
to
about
see a
that.
lot of people. They just, like I said, all somebody needs is to hear something popular, and they don't do their fucking investigation because they like the person. They'll be all gung ho. Base it on you doing your fucking research. Other than just because he's a black guy, he still come from a Caucasian mom, so he didn't have all black. He didn't really have a black background. He didn't really have a niggerish background. We come from the hood. If anybody who would know the community better would be us who actually live there.
Well, that was the problem. He was to represent us, but what people didn't understand. I don't know if this still on
They
YouTube
fooled
because
us with that one. Thank God I didn't vote for him.
I had showed some people this, right? Because they thought, I guess they doubted me. Maybe it wasn't. I felt like they was. But there was a video on YouTube when Obama,
Hey,
Barack,
hi Shaniqua, hi Shaquita.
maybe about 12, maybe no more than 14 years old. So it was the old Bush, the Bush that died, senior Bush,
Father.
two other white guys. Two other white guys. They in some kind of like maybe a stadium, it looks like. And you can see a bunch of chairs, so something had to take place. So now, this guy, Bush, puts his hand on Obama and said, one day, this young man may be the senator. He might even be the president. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but they do say that people of the secret society that there's no coincidence in what goes on.
Nothing.
So is it a
Right.
coincidence, what people consider to be a coincidence, that one day this young man is going to be such and such, and then maybe also the president, and then he became that man and one of their youngest men, then turned around to become the president? I mean, I tell people, they will tell you in your face what the fuck is going on, and then we always like, oh no, it can't be. And like, these people tell you. If I tell you, Immaculate tell you, any of my friends, my radio hosts tell you, we're not known, we're not popular. It's like, oh, come on, man, y'all crazy. Why you? But
Shaquita, what we're talking about, we jumped a bunch of different topics, but the main topic we was talking about, if you see the link up there, it's about this teacher. Her name was Destiny, whatever it is, and she was messing with two of her students that was like 12 and 13 years old, and she's mind you,
14.
she's a school teacher, and you know how it goes. We talked about a little bit about us. Drama said they should have a psychological evaluation, right? And he said about 6 months. I said about 3 years, but without them knowing within them 3 years of how they would be, evaluated. Like he said, do some type of workshop type thing to find out their mental status because it don't 6 months. They'll behave themselves in 6 months. But if you had something like 3 years being watched and you don't know how long for 3 years you're being watched, I think they'll have a whole lot better, you know what I'm saying, uniform way of getting their work done. Because most people who do such things, they're not parents. You know what I'm saying? And she's 25. That lady had a lot going on mentally. So I mean, like if you would like to drop a jewel on that one, you know what I'm saying? Even though we're talking about now Obama, and we talked about R. Kelly too. But how would you feel, you know what I'm saying? What do you think should happen? Because that's something like I said, her coming out of the age of 25, 25 is still to me like getting off at 18 years old. She really didn't have no real experience. You know what I'm saying? As being a real teacher, she just got thrusted into there based on her job. Her resume. She should have been looking at kids, but she was shit. She looking at them from a perspective of her being a kid at 25. Yeah,
Well,
she's a baby. She says she's a baby.
but
That's
you
why I
know
said
one thing.
that's too much. She gave them little engagement rings, talking about they need to keep it on a hush hush, and that she liked the way they kiss, and they kiss like, if you see when you get a chance, check it out. I want you to like. I said this lady mentally, she already looked to me, and I'm not judging nobody based on the look. I picked it up. I said this lady don't got it all there. 25 is too early. They'll still want to wear. They still like to twerk. They still like to do certain things. It's the difference when you're 30 plus having the experience and getting yourself together. It should be an off switch in your mind, like, okay, this is a kid. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? But in this case, this young lady, she was living her youth. That's what I feel at 25. So yeah, while she's typing and going to get in and say some stuff, continued drama, because this is juicy. Like I said, some people, these young people, as far as Bush goes now, that Obamacare, a lot of people can't say really what Obamacare has done for them. Give me a fucking insurance for my job that I could put on my damn taxes. That's what they need to start doing. If they could take that from you at the end of the year, they can also equally give it back to you. Like a lot of times they have paying for shit, and let's just say you don't no longer work that job. Are they going to give you that insurance that you was paying for? No, they don't give that to us. They're like, okay, thank you, Uncle Sam takes that, and you won't see that shit. What about the benefits of the job when you were signed up? If you get injured on the job, that should also go on your taxes too, because you paid taxes for that, and you paid for a percentage of that, and the percentage of dental. None of that goes back to us. Just exactly what they took from you, so they claim. And XYZ. She said, I couldn't even afford Obamacare. She said, it wouldn't, never had a 25-year-old in the type of environment. She would have had to be teaching kindergartners. Okay, basically.
They
Like I
should
said,
make this
it's changed.
where the words have like a color that would stand out, because I could see it very well, but being as white, it could be a little difficult. But what I want to say,
My background?
you're definitely right though, because I watched something where the man said this. It was a black man too, so it's kind of crazy. I don't know if it was like some psyops or what,
Now the
but the man
typos
was
is good.
saying this. The man said, look, a lot of people don't know what's going on with the Obamacare. Now, they gave his name, if that was his name, but his position. So his position was this. He said the papers come through, he has to read it. Now, he said Obamacare, I don't know how many pages he said, but I know he said it was like over 700 and something pages. But what he was saying is, this is his job, if I remember correctly. His job is take that book, breeze through it. Oh, this could be an issue with the people. Mark that down. So basically, I'm going to go through it, 200, 500, 700, whatever many pages, I got to go through these and see whatever may not be agreeable to the people is going to be a problem with the people or healthcare. We're going to straighten this shit out. So what he was saying is, because of his position, if once he does that, that means not just the pieces he pointed out, that means the whole shit got to go back, because what comes after is always based on what was previous or what was before it. So then that whole shit have to go back and be done over, which would he said take massive months. And then, so he said at some point, it's some shit they did. So he said what he had to do is, I think, like short read, or whatever they supposed to have tried to teach us in school, that short read shit, you just breeze through it and, oh yeah, this is good.
I don't think he read it. I think they gave him what they wanted him to have to read.
No. Even it was. His point was there's so many pages in that fucking Obamacare. I don't know if he gave an exact time, but he did say how there would be so much time for a person to read that shit that you done woke up as a whole new fucking year practically. That's how I'm putting it in my words. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, fuck. Yo, niggas about to be winter. I started reading this book like in early July. Some motherfuckers, look outside. You been in the house all that time?
Remember,
Even a bit.
Obamacare was supposed to create employment for a lot of people in our neighborhoods. All we end up having was half-built businesses that was just sitting there. And what they're doing, especially over here, Obamacare was supposed to help at Gateway Mall over here in Brooklyn. Obamacare was supposed to open up companies. We were supposed to have other malls that gave employment towards other people. But what happened was, whatever happened with the funding, remember, instead of now that they're being new stores and stuff, they're turning them now into houses where they're going to put people. And what they should have done was just create the housing, because now we have more homeless people now. What the Obamacare should have done was, to begin with, was create housing for the people. We have a lot of homeless people, but now but what we have now, what are they doing with this money now with Mr. Biden? No offense, Mr. Biden, and the people. We have more homeless people here, but they're inviting people from those countries over there to come here with $13 billion. I thought we don't have that money. Obamacare didn't even have 13 billion. But if you got that kind of housing now, how's the homeless people that's here right now? I know they're our allies, but you mean to tell me you're going to take care of your allies more than you're taking care of your own people? Now that's wrong. That's why I said that Obamacare went mostly to the LGBTQ community. If you look at a lot of the employment companies right now, who do you see mostly employed?
It
A
wasn't
lot of
even.
the waiters, the waitresses, a lot of them are a part of that community. And there's no offense to them, and I don't want them to try and attack me based on that, because I'm ready for it. But all the same, I'm going to call it like how it is. He had more of a stance with those types of beautiful souls. But however, the people that actually need housing, I would say take more people off the streets. There's babies, real actual homeless people, that babies being born. You know what I'm saying? There are real children being born underneath the subways. And they could have housed those people. But you got money to bring somebody from a whole nother motherfucking country here to take care of other than your own. So now we're going to have an overpopulated, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of people on top of that. But these new people are moving in them same places that the Obamacare was supposed to pay for jobs. But now they're turning, remember, over there by our gateway, they're turning into houses now. So who's going to get them? Those
Yeah,
people. You get what I'm saying? They're going to get it, remember, because that's what they did. They invited them over to be working here and go to school for free. And we got people here that need that.
yeah, but see, you know what?
And
Uh,
we're not in the billions.
this what I'm saying. That's why I gotta get another laptop,
Mm-hmm.
right? I said like in 3 weeks, right? So the thing is this also, right? There is so much going on with that, because that is happening in so many different ways. You got different
People
farmers.
could say what they want about Trump, but Trump got a lot of people out of jail.
That's
He
why.
got a
That's
lot
what
of
I'm
people
going.
housed in
That's
education. And I'm
that's
not for
what
Trump. Like I said, I always vote neutral drama. But all
I'm
the
gonna
same,
vote at
I
all.
seen the
Fuck
results he
that.
done.
Fuck voting. I'm gonna tell you, Obama. This is what I read. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I don't always get all my shit off of YouTube and all that. Like I try to, even I do on the internet, I try to read like articles. So one article I read, and this when I was down in Georgia, not this time, this summer previous, but last summer.
Mm-hmm.
So they was talking about one thing Obama did was let a lot of these companies go way across seas. The other day, according to what I read, is during the Obama administration, it was 29% black adults
Mm-hmm.
jobless. And as the youth, between whatever ages the youth supposed to have been, according to the article, they was 19% jobless. So I'm saying, sometimes the numbers could fuck with you because you're saying 19%. So what I took out of that basically was whatever the numbers supposed to be, if that was the numbers or the numbers was greater, they were
Mm-hmm.
saying that during his administration, there was a lot less black people at work. People was getting employed, but however they was running the system, it was allowing them to employ less people. You know what I'm saying? Because you always got to have a certain amount of people employed in every sector to keep certain things going. And if you don't, then one thing leads to another that might make something else collapse on another. So going back to the homeless, it's just some shit going on right now. You got these private investors, right? And what they doing is they buying up these houses and then they taking it off the market. and they're talking about how people are trying to move into certain areas, and you don't see like so many houses, or you don't see houses, but
Hmm.
there is houses there in that particular state or in that area. But let's say you're the private company or the private investor. I got the houses you bought up for me. You take it off the rack. You hold it down for a few months. You put it back on the market, and then you get to sell it more. I think one of the name of the groups was BlackRock and some other group. So they talking to some man, and the man said, "What should happen?" Because they trying to figure out. Because one guy was like, "Yo, this is gonna lead to more homeless people because the houses they actually was buying was supposed to be for one family homes or single family homes is what it's supposed to be." And I don't remember what state, but this is fresh. This is always taking
Yes.
place in like 2 months. So now one man suggested, "Look, as a private investor, you probably should have 100. After that 100 that you own, whatever so many you own, all those need to get taxed and something else." Then they talked to some other guy, was like, "That's a good idea," but then it's like basically there's one good idea that leads to a better idea, and now we gotta figure out when that better idea is gonna be this, we gotta come behind that with another good idea. And I'm like, okay, so after all that, the next good idea was let's start building these things much faster. But I'm saying these people is so-called billionaires and billionaires and fucking companies, and they already buying this shit and snatching it off. You're gonna make them faster. So the faster you make it, you making it for them to buy more because they already got the money to buy it. So as soon as you make it, they could come to you and buy it. What the fuck? What? And so building faster houses or faster homes is not gonna get people in the streets if
It's
they
not.
get the word first and get to buy it, or if they put it in the auction and they buy it. What good is that? The people are still gonna be fucking homeless.
I was trying to find the link for you so you could see what I found about the budget when Obamacare started. Um, where the money actually went. The money went to, like I said, it went to some kind of funding to employ the LGBTQ community, and and then the housing thing was already implemented when Obama would first won his election. That housing thing was already supposed to have been in play, but we never end up getting it. So what they did was, like I said, he claimed it was supposed to give us more jobs, but I found out later that the budget actually they overlooked the budget. It was some guy, and when you look on all the people, the list that I had, like I said, I think I put it on probably one of my pages. The list you would see that the budgets went to was people who was already in the office with Obama. When you look at it, it was all the people on his committee that partial of that budget went. Like they wrote their own, basically wrote their own checks and wrote their own businesses. I said, so this is what happened. Now they had to revamp because it was supposed to have been Chili's over there at that mall. It was supposed to have been a lot of other companies that was supposed to open up in 2013 and so forth. And they didn't open. Now what they did was I started seeing new signs that they talking about. They changed it up and said now it's going to be those development houses. Low income. Remember, it's low income. So who's going to get those low incomes? Watch, you're going to see over there in them areas. You're going to see them Germans and them Russians over there living over there. They're going to be the first ones from that lottery because they're doing it now as a lottery. Before, we never had to worry about lottery until they started that Obama.
That's why Trump was a better decision, and I told people that, and I'm not even a vote, but
Mm-hmm.
you know things, and when you look at Trump reversed a lot of shit Obama did.
Yeah,
So when
he blew
Obama,
it up. He blew up their spot. That's what happened.
so this is what you gotta look at. Besides these little dinky jobs like fast food. So when
Mm-hmm.
Obama had more jobs, and then he was letting companies go overseas. So the jobs here wasn't as essential as the jobs that was going overseas. So now you
Mm-hmm.
take it overseas, you actually taking higher beneficial jobs that people are also qualified for but can't work there because you went there. So when Trump came into office, he might have been a bastard to a lot of people,
Thank you,
but
Freedom.
but at least Trump brought the jobs back, and he did do some things he said he would do. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yo, the fucking economy's got to pick up. The American people need work. You can't be putting these shits in these fucking countries trying to avoid all kind of taxes and fucking policies." And then he actually started bringing some of these companies back, and then people was able to get those higher price fucking paying jobs. So, you know, it's always like a give and take with these people. One's going to give you something, and he's going to take it. One's going to come back and take it or give it to you, and then so.
They to me was almost one and the same. Him and Biden was almost one and the same. However, one had a big mouth, one had a quiet mouth. That's how I seen them both.
Plus, Obama was taught, like he was raised by white people.
He competitive.
So,
because he's a businessman. Remember, he was a businessman first. So he handled the election like a business.
I mean, not Trump, Obama. Not Trump, I mean,
Obama, okay.
He was raised by, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, this.
And what kind of lawyer was he? I think he was a something lawyer. He was he wasn't the, what's the name lawyer? He was a something. So he made decisions based on him being a lawyer. He really didn't do it as somebody who actually had his feet where coming from the hood, understanding true poverty. They had programs where his mama could have went and got shit for free. We ain't had to do that. You know, we had to go to public assistance and shit like that.
They say he was doing community working on that. I don't know what community he was fucking doing, but the thing,
he was.
He wasn't raised, and he wasn't around certain kind of environments.
So his babysitter was a transgender. Yes, that's a fact. It got to be on one of my pages. They said that's why one of the reasons that he did the Obamacare. I don't know. I can't speak on that, but I know for a fact his babysitter was a transgender. Bang, 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 gang, gang. They were.
Yeah, but see, this is the whole thing, right? They all been living this life for a very, very, very long time.
They have it in the
maybe like 20 years now, but years ago, like childhood years, they always been pulling pranks on the people. You know, they done got people in Hollywood that
Hollywood.
We think it's men, think it's women. That was men, but was getting the Adam's apple shaved out. They got some kind of actual doctors because somebody thought it was bullshit one time. They knew the name. I don't know. It was my homeboy Drewberg. He probably because he always able to back me up. But whatever the name of these kind of special doctors, these specialists, they do some shit to your vocals. I was told they snip your vocal or vocal cord, but what they do to give you that lighter voice and shit. So the idea of transgenders and all that shit been there because this is how they was getting us subliminally. And I believe also you will see a lot of YouTubers will say the same thing. Walt Disney played a big part in our reality. In our reality that we didn't see. And I could see that because we see a lot of things, they show you the secret messages and shit like that. And then it's like, we was soaking that shit in. So some was probably because of home bringing, we probably didn't go on certain routes like now. So now, despite the home bringing, it's like this era is so different with our kids. If we was helping them, giving them Walt Disney, all type of shit, not even seeing it, as they wasn't seeing it, we all soaking it, but it wasn't really for us to soak it no more, because we adults now. So whatever damage or somehow it may have damaged us, then fuck it. But we gotta always keep certain kind of cartoons for the young, and we gotta put these hidden messages in there, because this is gonna help us direct with the outside things, and it's all gonna collude into each other. And if you look now, we was talking about earlier, I mean, how old are you young, old, but very young, these motherfuckers be in relationships and be like 14. So I gave my everything, and you're like, yeah, everything to who? What's his name? And then that don't sound like a boy name. So you gave everything to one of you, but how old you again? So it's like it's crazy that they got this. It's like to me these little psychopaths. So you know when people say psycho, they're like, oh, psycho Michael Myers and fucking Chucky. You know these people are psycho. They little psychopaths because it's like they almost ain't got no boundaries. They don't got no.
Because we had freedom of speech.
You said what?
Because we was allowed to have freedom of speech. And then what the limit, but once we had that, once that amendment was okay, but how much of freedom of speech do we actually have? And they was killing us with them cartoons. But some of them cartoons was funny as fuck, not realizing the more we watched them, we realized like over 20 years later, damn, it had a lot of racism in it. But we was looking at them no different as a regular cartoon. You know what I'm saying? So freedom of speech was very bolder now. But when they don't want to hear it and it offends their ego, now it's you're wrong, take it off. They're trying to erase women's femininity. I sent you that video in regards to, like I told you about where do babies come from, and you saw that they was trying to make it sound like men are the ones who makes the baby rather than a man and a woman, as you saw that video that was explaining about the sexuality. You see that video I sent?
But you know, they had a movie. They had a bunch of movies like that. But they had a sports
But it's a
movie
kid
like that
book
with
now,
Danny
though.
DeVito. Yeah, I've seen it. But they also had a movie years ago. Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, and I forgot what it was called. And I don't even know which one of them supposed to be pregnant. Was it Schwarzenegger or Danny DeVito? But even the title alone was something about a baby or some shit. But if you watch the movie, one of them supposed to got pregnant. I forgot what the process supposed to have been. But, you know, that's a very,
Because
very
they're
old movie.
planning that. They've been planning it, so it's subliminals.
Yeah, it came out in the 90s. So, you know, that's one of the few things I haven't seen done yet with science. They're doing everything else, making
No,
the
I seen that
science.
young rapper boy, the black one with a stomach. I forgot his name though. I forgot his name. Whatever his name is, he's in right now in the videos with his stomach all shiny and pregnant. And I said, I don't know. He's a black rapper. AKA, he's not to me really a rapper, but that's how the kids categorize him as one of
Is
them
it
rappers.
Nas? Not Nas. I'm talking about Nas
There
X because he has some
you
fake
go.
photos like
Yeah, he
that.
has a one of them latest photos with the pregnant
Yeah,
belly holding it.
some fake photos. So yeah, them shits is Photoshop photos of him. Taking photos. He got the
And I was
shit around him.
telling my daughter that's not real. She's thinking it's real. I said no. I said they could never spit God in the face. God will erase all of their ass from existence. My creator is not. Good luck
Listen,
with that.
it's shit like that that's not real, but it's
That'll
better
try and have an influence on our kids. Because she asked me, was that real? I said, no. She's like, well, he is pregnant. I said, babe, that's not real. I said, don't believe the hype. I said, my creator. I said, don't allow people to work on you from the outside in. I said, pay attention. I said, the only way that the creator made it is man for woman and woman for man. There's fish who impregnate themselves, and there may be even other little reptiles that do it. But truly on the inside, they need masculine and feminine energy. There's no other way.
So let me ask you this. What do you think is the future of black men? Period. What is the future of black men? And put this in mind. The future of black men, I don't want to put too much in your mind right now. But what is the future of black men when you put the idea of how hip hop is, how they are, like we talked about the Michael B. Jordan poster. So we talking about the B. Jordan poster about men hugging men and all that, uplifting men. Then you got the hip hop scene with the black men. Then you got the black men that's being slaughtered by the system. So my question is, with all of those, what do you think is the future of our melanated men?
Most of our black men are there. I believe they're going to come to a time where they're going to want multiple partners, like that polyamorous relationship. Even though it was older back then, I think they're going to start trying to find a way in the next 20 years to make it legal. And when they do, it's going to bring more chaos out of order before they realize that, it's about preference. Because sometimes we have to go fucked up really bad in order to understand where we went wrong. Also, as far as healthcare goes with the men, a lot of our men are going to want to be they probably don't want no more children. You get what I'm saying? I don't feel like a lot of our men are going to want any more children. They're going to want to they're going to want to have, their life digitalized. Like they're going to want to have cat faces looking like the men. We're talking about the men. You see how they going all crazy now. Majority of our melanated men now want these crazy ass tattoos. Some of them going to want to look like panthers. With these digital technologies, they're going to have these holographic type lifestyles. They might even be to where, like I said, drugs is going to be higher in demand as far as technology goes because of the electrical vape. The men are going to have more sexually confused orientation, like I said. But it's just, I believe, it's an experiment at first. It got to get worse before it gets better, you know. And then, as far as their health goes, they they're gonna do more body swapping. And when I say body swapping, if they don't take care of their health, they're gonna rig it to a way that they're gonna something else, other organs exchange. The things that's low key now is about to come out in the open, and people gonna be just like cryogenics. Ain't no guarantee cryogenics is real. However, people are still freezing their body parts and shit and signing them waivers for those types of things. It's never been proven that cryogenics actually does work, but yet people are still investing. So now the things that were low key behind the scenes are actually going to come out. The age of Aquarius, like we talked about the other time, now Pluto's about to be in Aquarius officially. Oh, we're going to see some old crazy types of drug. Remember this old movie called Scanners? Remember they had this drug where the people they could move things with their mind and they could blow you, but they had this drug to subside them, to calm them down. We're going to have things that mess with our sensories, and at the same time, because we have more also people depressed, and it's really and truly no such thing as being depressed. It's just a nutritional imbalance. But if you don't teach that to your kids, they really believe that they are bipolar. There's no such thing as bipolar. I'm being honest. It's just sensory. Our senses. Sometimes when you get hit, certain traumas, they play on us with chemicals and shit. I mean it. Like, they know what they're doing, and if we don't know, it's easy for us to identify it as something as such. We don't have these things. It's about the chemical imbalance in our body. And we didn't teach our children's children when we come across feelings how to look at them for what they are. We just dealt with them. So that's how we passed it down to our kids. When we got our ass beat, we didn't really get explained why we got our ass whooped. We got our ass whooped and fell in line. So we didn't teach a lot of our men and women how to deal with their emotions and things, and a lot of the parents didn't have. So we're coming from an era who has to go through it really bad before it gets better. I don't see nothing wrong with men. They just don't know how to talk or communicate. They hide behind the web. I don't give for high men who don't really fuck, who really know how to fuck that well. No excuses, no problem. No offense to men out there who really can't, really have sex really in a way. And I don't mean like they gotta be all freaky and go down on you and stuff. I'm talking about who really don't know how to have sex, but they want to fuck 4, 5, 6 different women. But that means you don't even understand your sexuality. You want to jump from partner to partner to partner to partner, and you really don't know sexual intimacy, and you don't know how to communicate with a woman. Basically, that's what I mean about them being lost. They've been lost. Nobody taught them those things. That's the trial and error as us as parents. But they'll call it being bipolar. Like, you need a therapist for that. You don't need a therapist for that. But if a parent never addressed it, they have to learn how to do the self-work. And a lot of times it get real bad before it gets better. If you beg to differ, please share. I just don't want to be the only one sounding like I know it all, because I really don't. But I'm just telling you from my perspective of what I've seen in my experience of my 40 plus years on this earth, of how I communicate with a guy or any of my homies who have these similar issues. I realize that they never really talk to their partners, or when they have sex, some guys, when they talk to a woman, automatically they see sex on their mind with the partner because the person gave them a smile or because they looked at them, and that's the truth. They really think because they felt something that they have to smack. And the whole time, you had a partner that was actually, you had that freak bitch right there, and it wasn't about him not liking her, and it's not that she wasn't good for him. It's not none of that, but their brain automatically feel like, this is something new to me. It's always something new. I got to find out what it is. They don't know what that feeling is. They just go with it. And next thing you know, we have a lot of men out here that made a bunch of babies based on a feeling rather than understanding why are they feeling that way. Why do they feel the thrill of every time they meet somebody they have to get with them? Why do they have these needs? They don't know that. They never know, their parent never taught them how to understand themselves. And we have to learn ourselves through trial and error. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we do. When I get 50, I'm going to look at a lot of things that I know for a fact that I should have just knew to look at. And you're going to realize that had nothing to do with being bipolar. It was because we weren't taught these things. Not saying that how they seen it was the way we're supposed to see it, but how to address it, of what that type of mindset is something that you either have a choice to do, or you still have the option to explore rather than just get the feeling and just go with the impulse. That's what I mean to say.
Okay.
And I mean, some of them little niggas be like little hamsters, man. They be like, yo, son, I want to fuck her because she's just so pretty. I'll be like, son, think about it, slow down. Where are you getting this from? No, I just feel like it's, I say, you say that about every woman you meet. And they don't see that because what they want is what they want right then and there. You know?
Yeah, well, that shit plays a bunch of mixtures. Listening to
But it's not bipolar. It's not bipolar. Some people are actually attracted, but does that mean you have to go there? Do you have to really?
Well, I really never looked into bipolar deep, and what I think is sometimes these things don't exist, and they come with it. They make commercials to convince you it does exist, and then they tell you how they have medicine to tell you that it exists. Because why would we make medicine if it doesn't exist? So what I think is some of these don't exist, and then you end up biting it, and they give you some symptoms to make you feel like, okay, I probably got it. And then you start taking the medicine. And then I also believe that sometimes we have these mental illnesses that created either through a means of what's going on in society or a person's own personal actions and how it fell back to where it put them in certain predicaments and they had to think about these predicaments. And so I think it's a combination of both of what I
Yes,
said.
because some people pregnant was still smoking. But like I said, chemical imbalance. That's what I'm telling you. Some people still was smoking, still was drinking, doing certain things. It's like, and it passed down through the genome, you know what I'm saying, coding when we have them children in us. They don't think about the longevity of that. And like I said, whatever if we came from a violent household, them babies are inside us. It passed down. That Jim Crow theory shit. Remember how they said it's the generation. You can control the generation. You instill a whole thousands of plus years of fear in children. They're going to be born fearful. Over time, after a while of the children being fearful, when they're tired of being afraid, that energy that's honed inside of us of being afraid, they're going to come out like wild. And I'm proud of our babies that came out that to be wild. Now teach our little wild, strong-hearted kids how to use that same strength they came in here to do, rather than just let them run rampant. Now that they came out no longer fearful, and they're brave to a degree. Now talk to them on how to use that same strength and that same empowerment that they're growing up with, how to strengthen, rather than be dictatorial. They're ready. They're like ready soldiers. Our babies are already born soldiers. So teach them now how to use that energy. Even if they don't want to hear it, it takes us to do that practice rather than say, do as I say, don't do as I do. That's all I'm saying. Because these kids are ready. They're ready to be that militant. I see a lot of Malcolm X's out there. They just need the guidance to create the next best thing.
Well, if you Malcolm X in a mind, and then your life is based on the principles of being a blood.
Because the parent wasn't doing that. It's like, go sit your ass down. Oh, God, I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to go get help. I'm going to call the cops on my kid. Everything else is involved except for the parent directly nowadays.
Nah, you're going to be all over the place. And see, we saying the same thing, right? But I'm saying you're going to be all over the place because it's like, oh, right, I want to do right. Or I want to get involved with this. But then money makes shit happen, and these my niggas. Or these the hoes. So you're in conflict conflict one way because you into the streets as a fucking whatever group you into, Biades and folklores, and then you got this Malcolm X mentality where some people just got the Malcolm X mentality and then some don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then some does, but then they got the other side that it doesn't bring together that. It's more like a collision.
Mm-hmm.
Two worlds, as they say. You live the side of good, the side of bad. Some people are the side of both. So it's like two collisions. So we don't, or they, the younger generation, don't got no values really. A lot of them, and they don't have no
Why
real
don't
discipline
they have values from?
because a lot of reasons
They
why
only see one thing.
internet is the main reason. Because all that shit back in the day, these kids don't grow up how I grew up. So we grew up looking at the other dudes, the older dudes, looking at who talked to the girls, who get the most girls, who drinking the beer, who's drinking the smoking the weed. And then we look at how they dress and how girls react to them. Like, yeah, I gotta give me some show. But
Or the parents comparing the kids to their grandpas and uncles and aunties. Oh, your grandpa was a player. You inherited that. They're all players in the family. You know, they hear stuff like that, and they use that too.
yeah, but this what I'm telling you. It's a different in training. So even like in all generations, the training could be fucked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my time generation, it was more like this. Go to school, get educated, get your diploma, find yourself a girl, a nice wife, whatever, and get married, right? And they also had a mentality, a lot of them, obey the teachers, obey the police officers. So what they was telling you, someone would say, like, be a badass if people trying to hurt you. Don't let them hurt you. But then when it came to the school system, they would chump you, depending on what the teachers or principals say about you. And it's like they against you and you working with the school system. And then, in a sense, they was working against you by telling you going to school and dropping us off at school. But they didn't understand that because their background and education, a lot of times, they went to a lot of schools where blacks wasn't attending. And then, when I say the system, the overall. So our parents has applied to school. I mean, apply, not apply, but like, obey the laws of what a policy at school. Then you got to obey and listen to the laws of law enforcement. So our
Or be scared
parents,
of the cops. My grandmother used to be like, "Oh, if you do this, you're going to jail. Them cops gonna come." I'd be like, "Oh, what the heck? I ain't scared of damn cops."
but what they was teaching us was to basically obey the system. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll
Obey is the word, see?
system, it just kept making us go into a fucking spiral to where a lot of people know how to get out of the spiral. So we dealt with it by just keep trying to find different jobs, another job, and keep a job. When because of that, all that enforcement, you got to go to school, and you hear your grandparents and your parents, or this one dropped out and it shamed me, and all my kids, and I hope you don't do it, even though you're my grandchild, and then your parents been looking at you like, yeah, you better not drop out, you heard with your grandma, and it's like, none of them in that time that I know of, or when I talk to any people of my time, said, yo, my pops was like, yo, when you get older, I'm gonna show you how to run a business. So even that pops didn't have a business, he probably had dreams, or probably had a vision. And was like, if I get my son to own a fucking business, you know what I'm saying? And it's probably looking into shit because he wish he would have owned a business. But he went by what his parents, his grandparents, the rotation, the wheel kept spinning in the same fucking direction, the same direction. You go get a job, go to school, get your diploma, get married. And then the next generation, go to school, go to jail, get married, and you be happy. And then you go to school. So now you got the next generation, next generation, next generation, next generation. So they all trying to be positive, but they all is directing each other into a situation that we need to get out of. We need to get into our own educational system because we are a different kind of people that the people that's trying to teach us a system that shouldn't be in our system. We shouldn't be breathing this shit. We shouldn't be next to it. But we never decided to make our own systems and nothing. All we decided to do was fucking march and activism, and we were not gonna have this, and we gonna overcome, and you can't do this, and black people's this, and why we must suffer, and why can't everybody believe in Christ, and we all come together. They didn't want us in the
I go
education.
through that too, that part too. They'll
So
be like, well,
basically,
it's through Christ to do it. Yeah.
what I'm saying is
And I'm all
everything,
for it. I'm for it.
everything they didn't want us in is where the change would have came. So you the ones in the education system, we get our own education system. You the ones voting, well, we don't try to work our own government. Who knows how that's gonna go? Well, fuck it. We work our own fucking government and vote for our own people system, and we get one of us to stand up against y'all motherfuckers. System for system. So education, political, so any systems that was dominated by them, the military, can we get in? Can we get in? Please let us in. Please let us in. No, you can't get in. You can't get in, my child. Can't get in, my child. And then they kept beating on the door, kept beating on the door. And then the door started coming off the hinges a little bit. And they said, okay, we had to take a few of you in there because right now we at war and we need all the American strength we need. So we taking niggas. But in the beginning, they didn't want you to vote. Getting chased off the line. This was before the KKK. They had other racial groups that was chasing you off the line. Depending on what state you was in. Like, let's say I'm free, so I'm in Alabama, just for example. But even if I'm free and I'm not a slave, the laws of Alabama is that a free slave could vote, but you have been a resident of Alabama for 7 months. Motherfucker, I ain't been out here no less than a month and a half. But I'm free. But you're in Alabama. So, but you haven't been a resident long enough for you to vote. So they have all type of ups and downs where you can vote, but you can't vote. And also in the process, they had different groups. The red shirts, the white national, the white league, some kind of white league. But they had these other groups, and they was chasing black people off the line when black people was going to vote. So if they already got it in certain states as a free black person, you could vote. But then you got other organizations that don't want your vote chasing you off the line, but then you're free to vote, but depending on what state you in on your freedom, you had to have certain qualifications besides being free. So with all those ins and outs, tired of this shit. Yo, I did. Paul, come here. Yo, Willie, come here. Yo, John. We ain't do none of that. So because we want civil rights, we want affirmative action, and it's like you hear black people, oh, my ancestors built this country, my ancestors did this, my ancestors did that, my ancestors did this. So if we build or they build so much, how come the upcoming generations have so less? That's not making any fucking sense. So where did we go wrong in building? Because when you build and then you build with the intentions, the next generation should have something in there to place where everything was destroyed, where they scared the people, the ideas, like, I don't get it. Ain't no way you can have all these years fighting for shit.
I believe the things that they destroyed was purposely to disempower us as black people. My girlfriend last night was telling me about Seneca Village, the history of Seneca Village. Where, there was a lot of black people back then that had a lot of properties in Manhattan. That's what made up of Seneca Village. She said they started building theaters and stuff like that where they had a lot of black actresses and black actors going into the entertainment industry. What happened was they started burning down a lot of the buildings. But now the buildings that's still standing, she said, were black owned as far as those skyscraper buildings that she live in that neighborhood. That was black based. She said, don't let them tell you. And when I looked it up, it's true. Seneca Village was based on a lot of black people, of free black slaves that made up that neighborhood. But they was burning down the theaters because we had a lot of entertainment stuff back then, because we had to have our own neighborhood before Harlem was even, put on a map like that. Seneca was the center of one of the places where we had a lot of star stuff going on as far as our black entrepreneurs opening up entertainment businesses. So what they did was, like she said, they burnt a lot of the places down. She said they had one of the very first skyscrapers up there too. She said, but once they burnt it down, they had to revamp and get the fundings and all of that stuff to that degree and fix things up. She said she came there around the 60s, but all the same, it still wasn't as popular anymore because people were scared to live over there. So what it sounds like they did to a lot of our people, and why we don't have things that's left over, is because as we try to recreate it, they want to keep destroying it with that intense hate, that hate that no matter what it is, your kids won't type shit. And it's not that our people was afraid; they thought if it died down a little bit, that they can get it back up. But however, sometimes when they're trying to get it back up, shit is still falling down around them, and it takes time to do that. Then what happens? A lot of them die by the time they set intent to rebuild what they started.
Yeah, I bet.
She said because it was nice. She said they had the Billie Holidays, all of those types of people that's come up here from a lot of them being people who was coming from them times. They didn't know that it was still, and it's true. You know, some people didn't even still know that in the 60s, a lot of us was free here. So when they get here, they was surprised. They think you was in trouble doing shit your own way.
This is what I'm
So yeah, man.
saying. This is what I'm saying. A lot of shit is wrong because they show you in the 60s dogs, police officers beating up on people, but then they show you documentaries and shit of the Irish coming here, the French coming here. So if they coming here on boats, this is what I'm saying. A lot of things is wrong with the information history, especially with slavery. So I had one lady that been rocking with me maybe for about 3 years, 4 years. So she didn't get my point, but I guess she thought she hustled me real good, said what she wanted to say, and then just disappeared. And I'm like, you used to be one of the people that be coming in my DMs or drama like you do, you got the great pose, or, you know, just keep educating people. It was you, motherfucker.
She'll be back.
So what
They always do.
oh yeah, I like to tell people, I didn't even care because I did nothing wrong to you. I put a post on my line. I didn't come to your page saying some shit that you didn't like. So you come to my post, the post is something about slaves and cameras. So she was like, look, cameras came out and whatever, 50-50, whatever, and the slavery and leaking and Congress. And I said, look, oh, that's fine. So now I'm going to tell her, like, yo, look, this is what I'm saying to you. Whoever the first nigga name is, he probably have one of the first people with the cameras. But I know this is what they do in general, and it shows this. And I forgot what movie showed me this. So what I mean is this. Let's say, boom, they come out the phone. So right now, the public don't have these kind of phones. Not the public. We still fucking with, you know, house phones and street phones. But we seen in movies motherfuckers walking around where they fed or chasing movies, some spy movie. So now, we probably didn't have these phones in existence for about 3 or 4, 5, 7 years. Who knows how many years, but we had these phones existing. So now, we make it exposed to you, but you still ain't got it yet. So at some point, after they saw the trickle down to wherever it goes, usually they said these devices is used by CIA or the FBI. And then sometime they start working with companies and then, look, put that shit out there, let niggas buy that shit up, we don't use that shit no more. We don't moved it up into a whole different technology. And then when they get tired of that technology, we come, oh wow, that's brand new and we ain't never had nothing like this before. They don't even flip no more. They just come out right out in games. They don't have all that shit already. So what I'm saying is this. They come up with films that was been taken in the late part of slavery, before slavery was over. So my point was, if they had a camera before they gave it to the people to buy cameras, how we know they didn't have a camera and this wasn't filming the beginning of slavery, or they have film of slavery and as they do, either got damage laws in some places, maybe under the fucking library of the Pope. Who knows where this shit could be stashed at? So my point was, you got a camera, you come out later on in history, late part of fucking slavery history, and you come up with all these pictures of people that wasn't been part of the slave shit. But then you don't got no beginning pictures to show us how this shit actually started. All the fuck we have is stories, but we don't have no film. So now, going back until we was here already, but then they got a bunch of documentaries showing you the Polish people, the Irish people, the French people coming to America. So you got their fucking beginnings on film of their hardship of Like you shows with Hitler's in the Holocaust, you show us the beginning, what supposed to be the beginning of that shit, and before Hitler got deep, and all of a sudden Hitler supposed to have a whole statement showing half of the fucking Germany was behind this motherfucker, and that at the beginning of that led to a hardship of another nationality, almost to the very end. But you don't got the beginning of film for us, but you was able to come up with film at the later part. So we still don't know what the fuck was going on in the beginning, and then we gonna clarify the later part with pictures taken as slavery not only had to have happened, it probably more happened in the story that they given us. Get the fuck out of here. That's not making sense. You can't have all these different nationalities coming here and we already here, but then telling us we came from somewhere else. So where's our shit coming in at on film?
I think soon. I think when they get glimpses of our photos of how they beat us and things, I think they do that to release it as a satire to joke. Whether some of those old photos and stuff when it's released and when people so called find it all of a sudden, they low key let shit like that slide through the cracks. I don't think I believe if they really don't want us to see, they really don't. So I believe that it does exist, but however, no one has taken the real courage to take such a thing to expose because everything has a paper.
Right, I'm saying it could have happened, right? But what I'm saying is, it didn't happen the way they told me in
I know,
school.
because
You know what I'm saying?
the truth would be lost in the video.
And the timeline with a lot of shit they saying still doesn't add up either. For the simple fact, back then boats didn't have motors, so that's one thing. So you see now, when you travel these cruise boats sometimes to leave from Miami to ever, from New York to wherever you're going to leave, sometimes it might take a whole day, sometimes it may take 2 days. So even if it's not one of those 4 or 5 day cruises, it's one of them places where they can put you on a boat and take you somewhere because they got different kind of cruises. They got cruises where you just surface the sea and head back or dropped
Yeah.
or whatever. And then they got them cruises where it's like a cruise, you might stop paying there on your way to where you're supposed to be, but it's not where we're going to keep traveling for the next couple of days. Now you're here. So you staying, you got your visa, whatever the fuck the case is. So that's what I'm saying. The timelines don't add up. Because if you got a motor and it still take days, sometimes you've been on a ferry. You see how long it takes a ferry to leave them docks to Staten Island to get to the fucking Liberty Island? Why does it take that fucking long? And that's with a motor. So I supposed to believe a whole bunch of shit that didn't have a motor. All these fucking boats y'all made, and who knows how big these boats. They told you how big some of these boats, but definitely not one boat that they always show you pictures of for over 30 fucking years of the same fucking boat and how the cargo was shaped.
Had somebody doing the row your boat gently down the stream. I believe that's a slave song. Life is but a dream. That's something to cheer their asses up to get their ass here. Row gently down the stream. That's a song that encourage a nigga to do their job.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, even slavery did exist, because I mean, think like it did, but the story itself is not right.
Yeah, like, oh yeah. Oh, my friend was telling me, yeah, our people sold us off. I said, yeah, but even if we did, that always go on till this time too. People sell their daughters off in other countries. You go to China, they still be selling their kids. Fuck that shit. Just because you don't hear about it, don't mean it don't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's from this time, I don't believe we sold that many motherfuckers for them to overthrow us. Bullshit.
I seen a bunch of documentaries, just like when you talked about, I forgot what the last one I seen, what country they was in. So I said, yo, maybe this is a prank. But not a prank, like it wasn't shown to be at the end. Oh, he's only joking, but this actually goes on, and they show you some real shit in this country, these new people. No, but whatever country this was, let's say you went out, got about 5 kids to make the story short. So now, we don't let go 2 kids away, you got 5 kids. So, even I'm willing to sacrifice, my wife got to eat, the other kids got to eat. So we're going to go ahead and sell a kid. So then the 4 kids...
We don't, and I know you don't mean sell them. You mean selling them as like house help for a certain amount of time so they can get some benefit.
The way he put it, according to the documentary, because that's what I was thinking. I said, so when they going to come back? No, I'm going to sell you. And and we're gonna feed the rest. So I said, at what point is this really real? At what point do you say, okay, we down to 2 kids, let's go get a job. Okay, we down to 1 kid, let's just. What the fuck is keep getting kids to feed other kids, and eventually you gonna give our kids to feed other kids? So is the goal not to have any kids?
Mm. Because the Chinese restaurant, he was like, "You only got one baby. Why don't you have more?" I said, "Because I can't afford it." He said, "No, have more kids so they can grow up and then they can help you." I said, "Yeah, but that's a lot of mouths to feed." He said, "It looks like a lot of mouths to feed now, but you'll see later that if you teach them how to run a business, they'll make a lot of money for you." I said, "Damn, he looking at kids as cattle."
Yeah, but if you think about it, see, that's what's sad, right? And this is also how we got cut out of a lot of shit too, moving in modern times, is because I've been seeing shit like that for years, especially in the 90s is when it really started. But you see here and there because you had a little bit of black people. Still, you had, I think, more probably Hispanic owners and white owners for sure. You definitely have white people owning almost every fucking day in the bakery, doing the shop, all that shit. Maybe some exceptions here and there. The Italians are owning bakeries and the pizza shops, but almost every other business and mechanic that's owned by the white man. So it's like you come up seeing shit, come up seeing it, and you come up seeing it. So you see so much after a while, you even figure out what to do, what not to do, what you gotta do, what you shouldn't do, what you're able to do. And it seems like what they was able to do is make it where they always concentrated on us having less. So being that most of the time you go to these stores, you see these other races, like I said, definitely in the 90s, these Arabs, Egyptians, it's like they're kids collecting your money about 5 years old, 6 years old. Like, okay, that's cool if a 6-year-old really know how to count money, especially if you give them a $20 or $50 bill and they could give you the exact change or close to. To me, that's impressive. Like, you 5, 6 years old, man. But look, it's not our race that's doing this.
I taught my baby. I taught. I used to teach her. I'll take her somewhere random, some random place. I tell her stop when we'll walk literally up that block. So close your eyes for a few seconds. Tell me everything you can remember, every single thing you from left, right, front to back. I want to make sure that she can be able to depict where she is and make sure the people that's around her, who she's surrounded by. Always pay attention to your surroundings. That's one. And then two, make sure you remember the colors. You get what I'm saying? If you can't describe the location, you always remember the colors that you see frequently within that block and how the structures are built. You can always be able to identify the block with all the lights. It has a 6-story house and it has an arch of a window, even if you don't remember the color, because some people actually might see a different type of brown. So I will always taught her this from little, that I want her to be very aware and astute to her surroundings and how money and things exchange very quickly. Some kids, that's how you develop a kid's courage, because a lot of them don't have a lot of courage. So that relates me back to, like I said, when that Chinese guy said what he said to me, I said, damn. And also in Africa, people didn't sell their children, They sell their kids to somebody as a house help for a certain amount of age. Let's just say the child, they don't have enough money for school fees and they want their kid to go back to school eventually. They would sell their child probably at the age of 12, 13 to somebody until they turn 18. You know what I'm saying? For that 5 years, they pay the family off while the boy do the work. And then they'll give the family all the money, the difference of the money, once the boy grew up after the 5-year contract is up. Then they give the family the difference of the money and pay the child off. And it's still up to them if they want to still employ the boy after that. But it'll be up to the kid. But as a child, that's how they would do their children back then. A couple of my friends told me the same thing. They confirmed it. They said I had to go to somebody, aka an auntie, not a real aunt, but an aunt, like an auntie house to do some kind of help for 5, 10 years, and they get paid off. They get paid very well, and the person will, either give them a real job or give them a business sometimes after, leave them a business and stuff. So they did stuff like that. That's why I said, what kind of slave were they? What kind of person were they sold as? Was they a slave or like slave as a contract of temporary house? For them to get food in there.
No, it had nothing to do with slave.
Mm,
That's what I'm trying to tell you. It had nothing to do
yeah.
with slave. Of course, the documentary. You see what I'm saying? Look, like I said,
Damn.
we gotta eat. If we got 5 kids that gotta eat, we're gonna get rid of 1 kid. We're gonna sell that kid so everybody
Oh.
can eat, and I could eat. My wife could eat. So this wasn't Africa, wherever they was at. That I know for sure. It wasn't Africa. I just don't remember what country. But like sometimes I've seen these documentaries. I might have been into something at a certain time or another, so it would cause me to. So sometimes I talk about shit that be like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and it's like, damn. So yeah, this shit is crazy. There be so much going on around the world. So you see this new shit now. I think besides Mexico, that's
Mexico do that already. My girlfriend
now besides
told me that she had to go through that one time. She had to be with somebody, stay with them temporarily so to eat, but the parents starved where she was. So
now they got some shit where I think they're trying to, because it's not just Mexico. It's a couple of countries, and they are advising Americans not to
mm,
go to these countries. And then it was some country, I don't want to say it was Pakistan, I don't know what country it was, but the man definitely said, definitely if you go to some country, like the risk rate for Americans is very high.
mm,
So what I see, think is they making it where you as American going to fear of going outside of your country. So now, one is that money stays here because even you got family that you send money to or clothing to, how much money do you actually send? Especially if you're not rich or millionaire and that shit like that. So you ain't gonna be sending but so much. So now that money stays here. Then at the same time, while them other places plummet, it seems like they bring you the chaos. So as they install that fear, not only do you stay here, you spend your money here, you don't get to go out there. And then
mm.
usually out there, you may not would have been where that shit was at. Because some places somehow is weird like that, but some places or some countries, it might be some shit going on in one part, but it'll go over there. So you might be in China, and in the up north part, there's some shit that takes place, maybe because there's snow or it's more cold in that part. But the down part of China, there's certain things you talk about. I say, oh, you must be from North China. Look how you dress. You're from North China. It's nice here. We not cold here. So this even the way you dress a person, or you from the other side, but you still up that fucking country.
Wow. Shucks. I'm sure we got some craziness going on here too in America. We just haven't heard about it yet. Somebody gonna blow that shit off the map eventually, and I can't wait to hear it because that'll be one for your and my low key conspiracy theory. Because it's not a real conspiracy theory. It's just of what we know to be true. We just can't prove it yet. You know what I'm saying?
But see, this whole thing with conspiracy theories, right? Like I'm not down for that. But what's the thing about it is, what makes a conspiracy theory is that the same people that a lot of times is involved will tell you that no, 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 and
It
then
don't
they
exist.
the different information. And then what happened now, like the Ohio shit. So let's say in Ohio, you own the tracks and Stacy own some other fucking train shit. So now you in business, I'm out of business, I own the whole shit. Government didn't want to help me out. Somehow you and Stacy got the shit now. Y'all sharing how the fuck y'all sharing it. And y'all some powerful companies. So later on, maybe that's why the government wanted me out, and then maybe I owe some money to the government as well. I'm gonna like, just get you the fuck out of here, drama rock, and I'll make sure I get my money with these cats. So now, as they get the money with them, we starting to hear more shit with the Ohio shit. In the beginning, it was this, it was that, it was this. Then you come and find out, Immaculate not even the owner no more after Drama Rock, because fucking Sheila is the owner and Stacy is still the owner of the other one, but then
Mm.
come find Stacy changed the name of the company. So it's just like the same people be owning the same shit, but it's like under new management, but it's not new management. It's the same fucking people with a new name. So
Yeah,
see, they do all type of shit. And you like, oh now, Immaculate don't own that shit no more. And then you go deeper, deeper, deeper. You're like, hold up, Immaculate even emerged, or Immaculate is motherfucking Corporal City now, and Corporal City is Immaculate, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
that's what I said about that Walmart shit. I said they're gonna come back as a different name. I'm telling you, we're gonna find out later. We probably won't know right away, but they're gonna like it's like a I forgot what they call those type of companies that be doing scams like that. It's like having an umbrella car company. You know, like let's just say, they have them baby Gap has Banana Republic and stuff like that, well, Banana Republic has Gap and all of those other companies and Old Navy. We know that they're linked because they want that. They want to show you that that's a part of their budget. But imagine a mega superstore trying to do that. They ain't gonna give you the information. You're gonna find that shit out way later.
Well, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking Walmart. Well, there's a lot of shit with Walmart. But what I was thinking is, right, what if Walmart don't have other little companies? What if it had always just been Walmart the whole time? Because I think their last name is the Waltons or some shit like that. I don't remember. But
Remember, we had a Waltons back in the day. That was a
yeah,
mega store.
I don't know the same thing, like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It was the same Waltons. But if I remember right, their parents was the Waltons, whatever.
Hmm.
Because it probably like about 6, 7 of brothers and some sisters that own that Walmart shit. So I think with Walmart is they probably gonna be major. Like Chase is one of the major banks. So it's like all banks is major because all banks plays a part of our society, not just financially, but when a lot of places sometimes where they up or down. So if you got a broke neighborhood, depending on how broke it is, like some parts out here, it's so broke, you don't see no fucking banks. And you're like, damn, what the fuck? Why do you know how far to go for a bank? Whereas back in Jersey, hey, Williams, or you in a city like New York, you see banks
Hmm.
fucking weird. So one thing, banks is the reason
Welcome,
why
William. Hmm.
if there's homelessness, is because of the banks. Banks is like the military. They both have say
Hmm.
what goes on in these fucking neighborhoods. And that's why also, even if you see a change, that's the reason why they be certain banks. So normally you're gonna always see a chase in almost every fucking way, most of the time.
Yes.
Some banks might seem like fucking American this, Citibank that, motherfucking TD Bank. But those banks, right, and I don't know how to explain it, about how this shit was broken down. How them banks is all placed in these places, even if they change their name, go from some other bank or North Star banking, like the fuck is that? North Star, I never heard of
Now
it.
look what it says, drama, as
Oh,
far as
flip.
Walmart goes. Sam's Club put Walmart on the map. Guess who has Sam's Club? BJ's.
BJ's on who?
BJ's is Sam's Club.
Yeah?
They put Walmart on the map. It says let me go back a little bit. It says the expansion was largely fueled by the store construction, although the chain's more value and Kung Big K. Big K was the original person who founded Kmart, were also acquired. It says the company introduced its warehouse club chain Sam's Club in 1983 and its first supercenter stores in 1988. It says by the second chain. From then, Walmart got its big name of 11,000 plus stores. Now, Haven't said that. I just said that. I said, what if they affiliated with a bunch of different companies that we just don't know about? Sam's Club. I found out about Sam's Club. Sam's Club was down south before it even became the name BJ's up here. We knew it. I heard of Sam's Club because they was with what was the name of that shit? Finger Hut. Sam's Club was. You remember Finger Hut? That's what I'm saying. Like everything has a paper trail. It all has a paper trail. I wouldn't be a bit surprised they're all low key branches. We won't know that because we won't know who to sue if anything goes crazy. You get what I'm saying? But so-called Sam's Club put them on the map, and this is from the '60s. So if this is from 1968, that they already got their relative name, they already that we never heard about from the '60s of Walmart. They was already on their come up low key in them small towns. Let's just say a hick town way past Hempstead or some shit with another name that they have these names. Like I said, Sam's Club I know for sure is BJ because they were Costco's runner up.
And I don't know what made me say Figure Hunt. That was just crazy. As you told me, my head just said, "Yo, fit."
Yeah, Sam's Club used to have the thing where we used to have to fill out the Sam's Club thing, not the Finger Hut Club card yet, because Finger Hut didn't have the card thing. They had the coupon that you used to rip and order your shit and put it on the thing back in the day before we even had a card yet. Remember, you used to have the coupon. You put down the things you wanted to order and you put the number of the item. and they had a Sam's Club little thing on the bottom of it. And I remember it because it had the star similar. I'm gonna show you. Look at that little star. You see that star right there, that yellow star Walmart has? That was part of Sam's Club back in the day in the Finger Hut magazine. And I said that. I said this got to be Kmart because I'm thinking Kmart it was a diluted version of Walmart. Trying to find out the shit was put on a map by Sam's Club, aka BJ. And BJ's has another company name too. I can't remember the name, but we're supposed to get it further down the line in Hempstead. I doubt it. That's what I'm telling you. I said I think they're going online because they know they can make more money. It'll save them more money and less employees. What you and me talked about the other day. It saved them money. They ain't got to worry about too many employees. They'll be doing it online.
Yeah, I figured that's years ago. It was a gimmick. I figured that gimmick out when I was working at Macy's. Because I was like, what the fuck is this? Anybody here works part time? And I was like, yo, what if I could get a job here? Then they was like, yo, if you work for an agency, you gotta do this. If you just work for straight this and this, if you want to move. So I said, all right. So I don't know what I came across, but something I was looking at, and it kind of like confirmed my thought, but it made me kind of like understand more what I was trying to understand, and I didn't fully understand still. But how that shit had to do with how many hours you work, has to do with the insurance, it has to do with who they have to put insurance on, because if you work a certain amount of hours, that company don't have to put insurance on you. So then that company don't have to give you the benefits of the company. So there's just a lot of that was being avoided by having you work for 3 or 4 hours. Because I was like, this is crazy. How come you seeing different people in this department sometimes? And then, like I said, talking to people, oh, yeah, we only work here for like 3 hours. We only work for 4 hours. And then there's another guy that will come after. I think Jim coming. I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
And I don't think Sam's Club was their umbrella company. I just think it was sponsored. Like how it's not like a Def Jam that had a bad boy. You get what I'm saying? It ain't that, because then they would be able to track their shit. This was just like a company that sponsors them to get their stuff, and they're like, "Can you advertise us and put us on the map where we have the next best thing?" And they're like, "Okay." Sam's Club, mind you, we don't even know who the fuck a Sam's Club is. They only know it in their hit towns down south. You get what I'm saying? We never knew about rallies and checkers and all that. We knew about rallies from the race. Next thing you know, we heard of checkers after that. You get what I'm saying? Like, all of a sudden, these companies come up with a next best thing, a next new name, and then we find out later that they're all affiliated. We might find out affiliated later on that BJ's was really actually a part of Walmart. You get what I'm saying? But it became bigger than just as big as them, so it's eating up their competition. You get what I'm saying? Because Sam's Club was a BJ's that Walmart ended up just taking over, like really taking over. And remember, they're based on wholesale as far as Sam's Club and BJ's go. They're wholesale. So they're like, look, nigga, we put y'all on and y'all knocking us out the box. We were about to stop sponsoring y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying?
But what I don't really understand.
So they probably pulled the rug from underneath.
That's what I'm saying. How the fuck if you're all in competition? For example, right? the news, I don't think they talk like that no more. They changed it now. They be like, oh, our brother channel or sister channel. But before they used to talk like it was competition in channels. So I guess to realize people notice this way before people start telling I'm awake. But they start turning into more differently than how they used to have it. So like how they used to have it before was kind of like I said, more like competition. Like we give you news channels and channel 7, why would this news? And before all the channels give you news, we dare to give you the news first. And now they be like brother, sister, cousin, sister, brother, we all this family. Because y'all all been family the whole fucking time, but you played on us that there's competition. And so what y'all do is you give us small, different little tweakers of certain shit that the next news might not have. But somehow, how come all y'all got the same thing as major news? That makes no sense. Because if I was in competition, I'm gonna try to bring you shit that 2 is not bringing you. 7 is not bringing you this fucking news. I don't care if I'm getting it from the ghetto. I don't care if I surprise you. Like, look, we in Beverly Hills and they've been a fire. But my whole point is, I would try to give you news that everybody else is not rocking with. So when these other channels, yeah, I'm like, why y'all tuning in the Drama Rock channel, man? What the fuck is that new channel about? And they say, yo, he be giving you mad real shit. Yo, his team give you real shit. Some shit happened in your hood that I found out about. Remember I called you? The news didn't even have that shit. So basically what I'm saying is, I would have tried to be what Citizen app is now.
Okay. And they also have, if you notice, the Citizen Damn app also has the same logo as the Metaverse, the meta game thing that they sell in the Oculus. If you look at it, it has the similar the logo. I said I wouldn't be a bit surprised they all affiliated. I said that shit when I first saw it.
And a lot of this shit is demonic, because I don't know if you heard it one time.
It is.
They're supposed to change Google, not Google. Yeah, I think Google. E6 or some shit. And there's some other companies supposed to go 666. And I'm like, I think there's the Xbox. They supposed to change Xbox to X6. I'm like, why the fuck are y'all niggas worrying about a number? And see, this was so crazy. What make a lot of things more crazy is these fucking numbers. They use numbers to define a lot of shit that we not supposed to recognize.
Because it's code. Is codes. And like I said, Walmart is older than Sam's Club, because Sam's Club came out in the 80s, but however, Walmart came out in the 60s, but they got that sponsorship. You get what I'm saying? Like that help from them. I never even knew this. Like it says Sam's Club and Walmart are affiliated in other countries like Brazil, Mexico, the United States, and China. Shit, we thinking Walmart is just our own. The way they promote it, like it's our people to give jobs to our people. It ain't one thing is another.
Yeah, because like companies is against the people.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. Fucked up shit every
That
day.
was a good topic. I'm gonna this was a good topic, man. This really was. We went all over the place. That's why I want to post this if you don't mind, on my page, on my YouTube page with us, as far as the streets are talking. I want to put the timeline, the timestamps of our conversations of what we had. Damn, that blunt must be good, dude. You look like you about to fall asleep with that blunt on you.
So you can share this shit. We host this together. That's your right as a host. Because it was 2 buttons. One button says some shit about, I guess, with the host. So some shit about the host could share a comment or some shit. And then there's another button where I think it's like only me. So I put it for both. So however it goes, when it's done, I share it. You can share it. But my point is, if you're a host, because I think me and Takia and Stacey spoke about this. If you're part of the show, you share it because you just did. If you're a host, it's your right to share it because you're a host. You want people to hear you, right? So share this shit.
Yeah, but it's still this wasn't the streets of talking. This was Drama Rock. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a guest host. I ain't the host. You actually the host. This is just your bang bang.
Hey, they said you can also.
And thanks for y'all popping in, checking in on us. I only could see me and Drama, but I see other people popping in, and the number hasn't changed. So we can only see us. So I'm sure there's other people popping in and out.
Yeah. When it comes to through a lot. Lisa comes through a lot. I'm not sure about Williams, but whoever come through, it's cool because eventually they start coming on the regular. So So yeah, until next time, in between time, we gotta do this again some other
Yeah,
time.
because I see you yawning for a change. That's right. Get your ass to bed.
For
You're gonna
sure.
have to end it because if I end it, it might do something different. So you do it.
All right, peace out. Until next
Peace out, you
time.
guys, and thanks for popping in.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all.